and not just for the clone cones. We're gonna obviously, Billis made a big deal about that, but he actually said the Kentucky stuff was better. So next time he comes here, give him some crap. We're excited to be here because of what this place means, and the atmosphere, the environment, the energy, the program that TJ has built, how hard they play, the ownership of the community. It's a destination, and I think that's the thing. When you do these shows, as a coach, I experienced one as a head coach of Virginia Tech, and I kind of look a little bit at Iowa State. A little bit has something similar. There's an appreciation when people recognize how special your season is, or your team is, or your community is, and so I have so much respect for TJ and what he's done, and the passion that he's brought back to Iowa State. I was a really dear friend of Johnny Orr's way back in the day, and it's exciting to see where they are right now, and the road to success is always under construction. You're going to have roadblocks and detours along the way. Obviously losing Milan is a big thing. It's impacted their spacing. It's hurt their backcourt. And when you're not making shots, it also hurts your defensive transition, which hurts your three-point defense. It's kind of, they all go together in a lot of ways. So, hopefully he gets back soon. But I think it's also an opportunity to grow your team. And also, kind of, you're going to be in a situation, maybe in the NCAA tournament, where someone's going to be in foul trouble. And you're going to have to survive that. I haven't changed my opinion on what I think Iowa State is. I think they're a team that can beat anyone in the country on any given night. They had Auburn down 16. So when they're at their very best, they're really a special team. Joshua Jefferson's been a huge addition. So versatile, so skilled, hard matchup, terrific passer. That first Kansas game with that post-to-post passing was phenomenal. The backcourt, it plays fearlessly. I think Jackson he's been a little bit of a surprise, his ability to finish around the basket. So I think they probably got to get back to a little bit of getting that grit defensively, being a little more disruptive defensively. But when you're in transition defense, the first thing you got to do is just set your defense, so you're flattened out. Now if you make shots and then you can set your defense, then you can maybe get the ball out of the middle of the floor, and then you can be a little bit more disruptive. But I'm excited about everything about tomorrow. It's going to be a blast.
What would you say the number one ingredient has been for TJ's success here?
His genuine passion and ownership of the opportunity to be the head coach at Iowa State. I think sometimes when you have success, you take certain things for granted. I don't think he takes anything for granted in terms of the opportunity to represent the school and this community, and he has sweat equity in it. Mm-hmm. And when you have sweat equity in something, I think it really speaks volumes for just, it's part of your being. So I think that's the greatest. And I think he's also self-reflecting. Mm-hmm. He's very self-aware, except for the shirts. I don't understand shirts. But in terms of, he's not afraid to have mentors. He's not afraid to ask questions. He's not afraid to look in the mirror. And that's hard when you're a successful coach. Humility usually doesn't come along with it. And, to me, he's got a great balance between earned confidence and humility.
What do you remember from the last time, as a big kind of celebration of Johnny? It's Iowa State, Kansas. Fred's the head coach. Feels like a generation ago almost. But
it does. Yeah, what a job Fred did. It's silly. The thing I remember the most is, and I still have it, I took a picture next to Johnny's statue. See, Johnny was with Reebok. When I was first in South Florida, we were with Reebok, so we'd go on those Reebok trips. And Johnny would always, as you guys know, he's the funniest guy in the world. He would tell these stories about thanking the people for Reebok. At the end of the trip, he'd do a song and dance, and he'd say, "Yeah, I got my Reebok house, I got my Reebok boat, I got my," But those trips were something special to be around him. Every time I hit a bad shot at golf course, God damn! It was great. Yeah, I mean, but that was that was a memorable evening. But until the injury, this had the making of a historically memorable season, which it still does. I mean, and people got to remember there's only 7 college game days, and Iowa State's getting one of them. And that's what I tried to explain to our guys when I was at Tech. I said, like, Duke, Carolina, they could probably be there twice. Obviously the SEC's having a great season, but the powers to be on the 4th floor decided that this was the destination, which is a tribute to the community, the students, the fans, and coach.
You mentioned the absence of Momcilovic. Has that just become magnified? Because at first it seemed like maybe it wasn't going to affect him that much, but everything, the dynamic of Jones being leading core coming off the bench, instead he's starting, you're not getting the bench production, the spacing you talked about, just kind of a compounding effect over time.
Yeah, and also people get you now he's gone. People watch you play. It's different. Game planning is different. The bench play for sure. I mean, Curtis had that great first game, right, where I think he had 30.
Yep.
But again, the game play at this level, the scouting is so good. The information is, you just have an incredible amount of information, and it hurts. You take a good player off your team. You're looking at what's happening in Kentucky. Take Lamont Butler off the team, you're a different team. You take Momcilovic off the team, and you're a different team. Even though, he comes off the bench. Yeah, but he plays 25, 27 minutes, 28 minutes a game. And he can sub at any of those positions. They can adjust their lineup where he can come in and they can slide a guy over. He's 3, 4, 5. I mean, I always say that the pass he made in the full court play against, who was it? Where they won at the buzzer. Huh?
It's Tech.
Tech. Yeah, I mean, like, the play he made, like just the simplicity of making that decision. I mean, that's he's got such a high IQ and such a good feel. It was great execution. But, so, I mean, yeah, I mean, it does. It impacts you also defensively with your length. And then guys are playing more minutes, so guys get worn down. And, there's just a lot to it that a coaching staff has to figure out. But the other guys that are getting ready to play here, first of all, they're scouring every game you played without him and saying, all right, what did teams give, what teams take away? And, all right, well, with our personnel, we could do that. Or with our personnel, we could do that. And that makes it, it makes it hard in this league. And there's no rocking chair games in this league. So, like, keeping your team moving forward, knowing you got this good player on, but you want, and then, like, keeping your guys up, like, we're having a great season. This is just all part of it. Let's have good practice. Let's, learn from our mistakes, wipe the board clean, and get to the next play. I mean, all those things. And coaches, you have to do that too. Like, TJ's great at it. But, when you're winning is at the level they were winning, and that happens, yeah, I mean, like happens. And it's not what happens, it's how you deal with it. And he'll deal with it great. And March is a month away, and they'll be healthy by then, and they'll be more experienced by then.
What do you make of the Big 12 this year with Texas, Oklahoma being gone, the 4 new teams, what they added last year? Is it better, more balanced? Is it taking a step back? Or?
It's interesting. Obviously Arizona State hasn't played all that well. Colorado hasn't played all that well. A bad year to come into this league for sure. But Arizona, is 9-1. They started off 4-5, and they got rebooted. And like what they've done is, they went from not passing the ball and sharing the ball to, except against you guys. and that's all. And that's like all part of it. I mean, like when they play again, I mean, like, here's the question. Not getting split and keeping them in front and doing the things you got to do. I mean, it's actually I'm going back. I was just thinking Texas Tech. Scratch that, because Texas Tech kept kept them right out of the middle. They literally kept them out of the paint. And the ball just got stuck in Arizona. So if you can get Arizona in a half-court game and get them stopped. But, I mean, Arizona's been a huge addition, and the environment's great, the atmosphere is great. You know, they have the resources to always be good. The league's good, let's face it. The league is not what it is when Kansas is all the way up there. But here's the deal. Maybe Kansas is here, but everyone has gotten here. And I think that's the thing. Like when we went from the Big East to the ACC at Tech, everyone thought we were going to ruin the league. And the first year we go 8-8 and we beat Duke. And then everyone was killing us. Well, you know what? What's happened is when you're in a league with a standard bearer, and that's what Kansas had been, right? You got to make a decision as an institution and coaching staff, whatever. Is that what it's going to be, or is that the standard? So now we all have to reinvest if we want to be competitive. I think that's what's happened in this league. The depth of the league is great. You know, some of the new schools are a little bit behind, but the depth in this league is great. You got to play well to have a chance to win. So the league is still really, really good. I mean, and will remain good. You added a team with Final Four tradition in Arizona. I mean, that's, you know, nothing against any of the people that left, but Arizona probably in a better place than anyone that left. Let's put it that way. You know, so I think it's, I think the league is good. I think that, you know, Iowa State and, you know, Texas Tech and all the people that have been Baylor and all the people that have been chasing, they're catching up. And I don't think it's like Kansas is worse. I mean, I just think that really good coaches in this league, and people have said, hey, if we're going to be in this league, play at this level, we've got to. Your investment equals your expectation. It's just plain and simple as that. And people have invested in their programs, and now you're seeing a little bit more level playing field, which is great because for us. Every time I turn on TV at night or I'm in the studio, I get a chance to see a good game. So it's pretty good.
What comes to mind when you think of Hilton Coliseum as a basketball venue?
Insane. I mean, what comes to mind is it's so deafening. It's so loud, and you know the people there are not spectators; they're participants. They're invested in the game. They have ownership. They feel like, you know, it's their team, and they're going to do whatever they can to help impact the outcome of the game. So it just, I remember the first time we were here, I didn't realize how loud it was going to get. I mean, it's just deafening, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, that's the way it's supposed to be. And I mean, you know, the whole Hilton Magic thing, I think I get a kick out of it, but this place does have some incredible history and memories. You know, you have these older arenas, and you start saying, well, like, you guys cover them. What's the 5 most magical nights in Hilton history? It's hard to narrow it down to 5. It's pretty cool, right? I mean, and so I think it's just the atmosphere and the energy is deafening. And how hard the team plays. I mean, they don't take plays off. They might not shoot it straight all the time. They might pitch it to the wrong team a little bit too much. But in terms of the effort is incredible. And it reflects the community and it reflects the institution. I mean, that's you always want your team to reflect the DNA of your community. I mean, I think that's a really important thing, and that's what Iowa State does.
Speaking on that, obviously, you know, with Iowa State being on a 3-game losing streak, 2 of which were on the road, now their next 3 or 4 are at home. You talked about how Hilton can really control the game for Iowa State. How big is it for this team to get those games at home, especially during this crucial time?
It's huge. Look, and the fans don't understand it, but it's who you play, where you play it, and when you play it. I mean, so like, you know, as a head coach, you're looking at your schedule and you're like going, all right, we got 3 or 4 on the road. All right, if we could steal 1, 2 would be amazing. We could steal 1, that's pretty good. So, yeah, we got these games at home. All right, we got to seize the moment. This is when we gotta make a move, all right, and get this thing together. So, you know, it sure as hell beats the hell out of playing 3 or 4 on the road when your team is struggling, because you know you're going to have the support of how many does it seat? I don't even know.
14-267.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're going to have 14-267 crazy, clones running around screaming and yelling and elevating your team, which helps your attention to detail and helps you get through maybe the lull in a game when you're struggling. So it's huge. It's huge, especially coming off when you're struggling. 'Cause at some places it wouldn't be, because you lose 3 in a row and then maybe there'd be some empty seats. That ain't happening here. So it's huge, absolutely huge. You guys good?